you want Mario?
You could say it any way you want. I get Mario, you name it.
Okay, that works perfect. So, Mario, I want to welcome you and our one viewer that I have watching. Thank you for watching already. If you have comments, viewers, please leave them in the comments, and Mario might actually answer your questions live. Right, Mario? It's weird,
Absolutely.
right? Because I can do that.
Absolutely.
And that's only if you're attached to StreamYard. Otherwise, I don't know how to do it. Anyway, we start with the question of the week, Mario, and we'll introduce who you are after the question of the week. That's just how the show works. Question of the week is, what old person things do you do?
I don't do any old person things. I see the world through the eyes of a child. I used to do old person things, but totally unfulfilling. I'd rather do very youthful things, stay youthful, and that's it. I wish I could answer. I wish I could answer that better. I mean, my own three daughters call me the biggest kid in the world. So that's what I am. I'm not a big. Growing up's a trap. I want to let people know that. So stay young, stay gold, and see the world through the eyes of a child.
Stay gold. That's nice. So, Mario, you are a life coach, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, the founder of the Elevate Others movement, and I'm assuming a bunch of other stuff. You got a podcast too. What's your favorite of them all? What's your favorite thing that you do?
They're all my favorite because anything that allows me to elevate others, that's what brings me the gratitude. So whatever medium I can reach people and really take them and put them on a journey to freedom and happiness, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter how it is. It could be in person. It could be on my podcast. It could be one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking, no matter what it is. As long as I'm reaching the audience that I want to reach, who are living unfulfilled lives, who are living the mundane lives, getting them to get out of their comfort zone and take that leap. It doesn't matter how I get their attention or how I grab their soul and twist it and let them know life is to be lived.
So how did you identify the problem of people not living to their fullest? How did you discover
that? Through experience, through 5 years of hell. Back in 2010, I was at the peak of my career, and automation and technology came and took away everything I loved, my passion. But along with that, it took away my identity. So for 5 years, I really was scraping out of a rabbit hole. Nobody saw it. I kept smiling, but it was killing me inside and out, both physically and mentally. And when I came out of it, after calling myself a victim and taking responsibility for my life and changing my life dramatically, I did not want people to take that long. I wanted to share my story, which is not your story or anyone else's story, but by sharing my story, by sharing my experiences and how I flipped my mindset to an adaptation to where every time something would happen in my life, whether it was a failure, whether it was an obstacle, whether it was a struggle, I embraced it. And rather than looking at it, life was happening to me, it was happening for me. And it was happening for me to put me on this journey, a journey I will never deviate from. And that's where we are. And I just want to share that with as many people as possible.
I like your story because I've read through your bio and it talks about some pretty rough stuff. And I think the journey that we're on right now with this COVID stuff happening, I think the world is right where you were, where they're going to lose a lot of jobs. They're going to be, and a job is it's a person, it's a big part of most people's identity. Most people, not everybody, but after this, I don't see a reason for like accounting firms to have huge buildings full of people or banks having huge buildings full of people. So how can you help others to go out there and live their best life?
First off, see it as a blessing. A lot of these people working these jobs, it is a livelihood. I understand that, but this is an opportunity for a reset. Like I ask people, I did a Facebook Live 5 nights a week during quarantine. Mm-hmm. And I kept asking people, what are you doing to prepare for when this pandemic is over? Are you working on yourself? Are you working on your mind? Are you reading books? Are you researching? Are you starting a side hustle? Are you starting to get clarity so you can focus on what your true passion is? So when we're out of this, if that job is no longer there? Are you ready to take it on? Are you ready to start your new life, your new journey? And it was amazing because I was getting a lot of responses, but it would always come through my messenger. And I'm like, just share it. This is and that's where people hold themselves back, sharing their story. But this COVID is a blessing. I'm sorry to say that, but the world was crappy before. It's just now we have the technology to show the world how crappy it is. It's up to us to make it good. It's up to us to make it fantastic. So yes, and I wrote an ebook called Embrace Technology Before It Embraces You back in 2016. I saw it. I experienced it. And people have to identify what their passion is, what's going to make them jump out of bed every morning. It's going to be a blessing for so many people if they just accept it and stop blaming society, shut off the noise, the chaos, and the confusion. Focus on you, focus around the people around you, elevate yourself so you can turn around and elevate others. I can't say that enough.
When I look at the world today, specifically with automation, which is something that you talk about it coming, I look at Walmart. They've got robots that clean aisles now. I look at there's fast food chains with robots that make cheeseburgers, which I know that's not a great job to begin with, but those jobs are disappearing. And all of a sudden, those jobs aren't there anymore.
You have in Tokyo, in Japan, you have robots rolling sushi at 100 times the speed of a human. You look at lawyers. You think everyone wants their kid to be a lawyer, but now they're putting together these. They're putting together the supercomputer with hooking up with all the precedents, and they're coming up with a verdict that could never be refuted. And it's the same with surgery. I mean, open heart surgery with robots, and it went like that. So we have to, as human beings, we have to adapt. We are the apex predator, yet we stay so far behind. With the most powerful computer in the world, we just don't know how to use it. I didn't know how to use it. And I'm not criticizing people because I went through these stages. I figured out how to use it.
So how does a person start? Where's the first step?
The first step is having a real personal conversation, an in-depth, honest, brutal conversation with themselves. Identifying what they no longer want in their life, their habits, the type of job they have, their routines. If they're waking up every day miserable and they're commuting to work and they're getting there, they're finishing, they're coming home, they're eating dinner, they're streaming Netflix, they have no passion and purpose, get rid of it all. Because the only way I got clarity was by having that honest, brutal conversation with myself. And once I had clarity, I had focus. And once I had focus, then I went for that walk and I truly identified we were all born with a gift. 2% of us unwrap it. I unwrapped my gift that day and I found out what I want to do with the rest of my life. It's never too late. I'm 53. Mm-hmm. Start this at 23. Start this at 33. Start this at 40. It doesn't matter. What matters is giving as much as you can to the world, but most importantly, living life with no regrets. Regret sucks, and I don't want anybody to have regret.
That's awesome. When I was 23, I started my I do stage hypnosis. That's what I do. That's my real job, quote unquote. And when COVID hit, I shifted to this. This is only 2 months old, so I understand. So what happens when a person does find that passion, but they change it? What's the step after that? I know that theoretically it's a lifelong passion, but it can change over time, right? So what do they do then?
Well, once you identify the passion, you start building that. You start working on it. And for me, I knew I wanted to write a book. I wanted to share my story. I wanted to speak to people. I wanted to be brutally honest with them. I don't sugarcoat anything. Even when I coach people one-on-one, it took me time to brand myself and to educate myself. I did so many interviews for free, and that's what you have to do. And you have to really become not a master at your craft, but you have to see How excited are you when you're talking to people? And the feedback I got all the time, and this is when I knew this was my passion. People said to me, Mario, I don't just listen to what you're saying, I feel what you're saying. And when you can talk to people about what you're doing and what your purpose is in life, and they can feel it coming out of you, that's when you know you're on target. Just don't deviate from the path. You see, here's the thing. People set goals, they hit it, they pat themselves on the back, and then they become complacent again. What I want people to know is it is truly a journey. It's a journey. You hit a goal, you're on to your next. You hit a goal, you're on to your next. What more do you want to bring to the world? And I use Elon Musk as an example. When Elon Musk sold PayPal for $180 million, if people hit the lottery for $180 million, they would be sitting on the beach and they would just, this guy put $100 million into Tesla, $60 million into SpaceX, $20 million into Solar City, and he's borrowing money for rent. That's somebody who truly is passionate about what they do. They will put everything on the line, burn the boats, and move forward. You'll know it when you get it. And when I have those calls with people and I have them take that walk, that next conversation, I see a different person. I see a person beaming and ready to take on the world.
That's awesome. I like it. I'm at a loss for words, which normally doesn't happen, which is crazy. I like your passion. If people want to find you, where do they find you? Other than what's scrolling below, are you on any other? Do you have a Facebook group or anything like that?
My Facebook group is Elevate Others to Freedom and Happiness, which is just launched. We're going to have some great stuff in there. I'm also on TikTok. I'm on Instagram at Mario Race Official. Where else can they find me? I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all social media platforms. Okay. YouTube. Look up my YouTube channel. There's some great videos up there. I love the one video that did go viral because it talks about the 3 people that I identified in life. And the last one is who I want everyone to be. I was all of them. So if you watch the video, just know I'm not criticizing. I even say it in the video. I went through these stages. So it's not being critical. It's identifying and adapting.
That's fantastic. I think a lot of people forget what the hero's journey is in literature, right? We all start off in literature. We start off as that person who has that normal life. Then we move on to the stage where we have to gain wisdom, and then we finally end up the hero. And that's true for everybody. And I'm pretty sure that's what the 3 stages are all about, is it not? It's making that journey from one person to another, correct?
Yeah, but here's the thing. The young people today don't have to wait for that. They don't. They don't have to go through the stages that you and I went through.
Yep.
If they would just take a look at what is going to benefit them. For instance, is college going to benefit them? If they're going to be a doctor, if they're okay. Well, I'm not a big fan of college. I have two daughters in college. My baby, my Gabby Goo, she'll benefit from it. She wants to be a surgeon's assistant. She is very passionate about that. But I want kids to take stock in it. If their parents, if their educators are telling them what they should do and they're going to do it, they're going to be unhappy. They're going to live an unhappy life. But if they dig deep down inside, even if they take a year, don't rush it. Enjoy life and find your passion. You don't have to go to college, graduate, get married, buy a house, have 2.5 kids with a white picket fence. That's all gone. That's all baloney. That was sold to us. The same way the cereal industry and the milk industry came together and said that breakfast is the number 1 meal of the day, when in fact, you should not even be eating breakfast. The problem is we've been so programmed and so manipulated by the media, by advertisers, by the news. They're telling us how to live our life. I did it. I bought the cars. I bought the fancy clothes. I bought the fancy watches. Where'd it get me? Nowhere. And I want to wake kids up to that. I want to wake them up to the fact that the more you buy, the more you own, the more you have to work to keep it.
That's right.
It's about freedom. It's about being able to get up anytime you want, travel, take your laptop with you, work from your laptop, be your own boss. What's wrong with that? Eventually, people are going to be forced into that. I was forced into it. I don't want others to make that mistake.
Yeah, it's happening sooner than we think. When a company can buy a robot that is only 70, 80 grand, that's only 3 years worth of wages, and they have that robot for 15 years. So why wouldn't
Absolutely.
they do it? It would be irresponsible for them not to. And we can get mad at that all we want, but it would really be irresponsible. When you talk about young people, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like you talked about Walmart. Walmart was the only company that Amazon could not put out of business.
Yep.
Because they stayed on top of technology. They stayed on top of it. So the people who did not, and that's why I want these young kids to know. Look at the businesses who did not take advantage of social media, of automation, of technology. These businesses, multi-billion dollar, Fortune 500 companies out of business simply because Amazon knew what they were doing. Amazon crushed everybody. I don't want these kids getting crushed.
And a lot of people think it's hard. For instance, if they were wanting to be a speaker, this show goes out to 6 different places just by me hitting the play button, and then it has another 6 just from me hitting another button. So we talk about automation. This doesn't have to be hard, and living one's dream doesn't have to be hard, right? And it doesn't have to be a show like this or speaking on stage. It could be having a Shopify store or doing drop shipping or whatever else that they're actually passionate about. And
absolutely.
And people think, well, I'm not good enough for this. And I'm going to be honest with you. That's a bunch of bull manure. I grew up on welfare and had nothing. I literally crapped in an outhouse for the first 10 years of my life. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
If you look at the most successful people in this world, they did not have a silver spoon in their mouth. They did not have a trust fund. They did not have mommy and daddy taking care of them. They did it on their own. Those are the most successful people in this world. If you look at the statistics on the individuals who inherit a trust fund or go to work for, those are the ones either in rehab. Those are the ones who, you look at lottery winners. Look at the stats on lottery winners. 78% go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. I know it changed, but the ones that commit suicide, it's crazy. Why? Because there's no fulfillment. There's no purpose. They don't have a reason to wake up every day. You want to have a reason to wake up every day, jump out of bed and say, this is what I'm doing with my day. That's living. Too many people exist. I know people my age, 53 years old, who have never lived a day in their life. Even though they're alive, they're just existing.
Which is sad. It's sad.
So sad.
Because, we can pity them all we want or think about it, but
I pray for them. I don't pity them.
Yeah. It's a strange thing. Anybody who's watching now, hit the share button so other people can get Mario's message, please. And if you have questions, put it in the comment box as well. What do you mean by elevate others? Because I know it's a great term, but what's the real essence of that? Because you need to explain kind of.
Yeah, the real essence is that people believe they cannot achieve the things they want to do. In order to do that, you have to elevate yourself. And by elevate, I mean put yourself on a damn pedestal. I love this, and I only learned this from Gary Vaynerchuk. You have a 1 in 4 trillion chance of being alive. Think about that. A 1 in 4 trillion chance of being alive. Mm-hmm. Don't waste it. Elevate yourself. Make yourself better. Get out of your comfort zone. Take risks. Take chances. That's elevating. Do something that scares the hell out of you tomorrow. And you're going to feel that adrenaline. You're going to feel that rush of life come into you. And guess what? That's going to change you for the better. That's going to make you the best version of yourself. And what are you going to do when I say elevate others? I say elevate others because everybody I touch, everybody I impact, I want them to turn around and do what I'm doing for somebody else. I want them to take that chance, to take that risk and know. And people talk about motivation. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker. I hate the word motivation. I truly do. Everybody's born with motivation. If I came after you right now with a knife, you're going to run or you're going to fight back at me. You're motivated to eat. You're motivated to sit on a couch. You're motivated to do anything. It's having the courage to take that leap and believe in what your passion truly is and what that person that purpose truly is. It's courage, man. And when you elevate yourself, you give yourself more courage. And you pass that on to others.
A lot of people are afraid. That's the biggest thing I see is a lot
Fear,
of people
and fear is an illusion. We were born to fear two things: falling
big animals
and noise. No, falling and noise are the only two things. When you're born, those are the only fears you're born with. Everything else we fear in life, everybody fears, you're taught. Don't jump in that pool. It's deep. Don't ride that bike in the street. Everything is fear. Look what the news does. The news, and that's why I haven't watched the news since 2015. The news is a business, people. They're not informing you of what's going on in the world. Do you ever turn on the news and it says, wow, what a wonderful day. It's going to be sunny and great, and everything is wonderful. No. They want fear sells, and people buy into it. You've got to stop. Shut this noise off. Shut this chaos off. Let it go. And start thinking for yourself and start thinking about you, the people you love, and the people who support you. That's where it all comes from.
So I like that. That's good. That's good. Natalie did have a comment as well. She says that you've helped her, and you're over 65, Natalie, and basically given her a reason to jump out of bed and have passion in her life. And that just goes to show you're never too old for this, and never too old to start taking action. And Natalie, thanks for the comment, by the way.
And Natalie's awesome, by the way. Very awesome. She's going to change the world. I don't know her. I don't know her personally. I know her from the great thing of technology, which brought us together. She, came into my group. She's a great supporter, and all of a sudden now she has changed her life. And the gratitude I get out of that, that's why I do this. That's why I do it.
Where do you see Elevate Others going? Where do you want it to be in 5 years? What do you want it to do?
I want it to be a very big movement. I want many people involved, and I don't just want myself on the biggest stage out there. I want other people sharing their stories, letting people know I was here, now I'm here. I'm elevated, and I want to share it with you. I want it to be a true movement by which it's not like a ripple effect, like throwing a little stone into a lake. I want it to be like a meteorite hitting the ocean, that type of ripple effect, where it's going to affect so many people. Look, we live in a very divided world. I would love to be part of creating a united world and bringing people together, shutting off our politicians, stop listening to advertisers, stop Googling and believing everything is true. Let's come together. Let's share our ideas. Let's be innovative. Let's be creative. Let's be misfits. Let's not be normal. Normal is average. Let's be abnormal. Let's think outside the lines, not outside the box. Let's just really just go against the status quo and make things happen that are going to benefit us and benefit the world at the same time.
That's awesome. I agree with your mission. And I think there's a lot of other people that also agree with that mission. Now, we're at 24 minutes. We got 6-ish minutes left. You got a saying. And
that's a damn shame. I was kidding. I
can go all night if you really want to, but my kids will come down and scream eventually.
I hear you.
You have a saying, and you want to go for it? You're
Bam.
Ba-bam, that's right.
Ba-bam.
Now, what does ba-bam mean? What's the essence behind that?
So I grew up loving Batman, and they never had a ba-bam. And so that's my internal superhero. So whenever something goes really great, not just for myself, but for someone else, someone I'm coaching, someone I'm involved with, someone I'm playing sports with, I always throw out a ba-bam. And it's funny because the people around me and the people that I get to meet, I love hearing them say ba-bam because it becomes contagious. Putting the superhero inside of everybody putting that courage inside of everybody. It's a blessing. It truly is a blessing.
That's awesome. I like it. This is good. I'm glad that you've come today. For everybody, Mario Arrace, correct? I didn't say that horribly wrong, did I?
No, Arrace. Okay. It's Arace in Italian, but we say Arrace here in America.
Okay. Well, I'm Canadian, so it's probably even worse. but everybody, I want you to go to Mario's website. Go check him out on his website and join his groups. I'm sure I put links either in the description or whatever. But check him out and become part of his community, because he is about to change the world, and I can feel that it's going to triple for you in the next little while, which will be fantastic, won't it? Mario, before we end off, Natalie says "ba-bam," by the way, and so does Joey.
Ba-bam.
So before we end off, I always ask one question of every guest I have, but the problem is I don't think you need that question. I think you already have it. The question is, other than this interview, what's one thing that you've done today to make yourself happy? Now, the problem is I don't know if you need to make yourself happy, because I think it's already a mindset for you.
Yeah, happiness is a choice, and look. It is. People don't know that, through even after I came out of the 5-year rabbit hole. What's great about having a transformation? What's great about adapting and accepting life? And life is never going to be hard. No matter what comes your way, you can choose happiness. Choose it. You could choose to be miserable too, but that's up to you. But it's what you send out to the universe. So for me, it's, testing my 3 daughters, knowing one's down the shore, the other one's enjoying a beautiful day. My youngest one is, running around. But I got on. I'm in a mastermind where I get on a Mindset Monday call, and I change people. I change them for the better. These are coaches and entrepreneurs, and it's fantastic. And to be able to do that, and to be able to change their life, and to be able to see them have a breakthrough, because that's what it's all about. How many people want to have a breakthrough? People fear having a breakthrough because they don't know what's on the other side of that. Well, let me tell you, people, on the other side of struggle is greatness. You want happiness? Take on as many struggles, as many obstacles, and as many failures as possible, because those are the bricks and the foundations you're going to have to build that path to freedom and happiness.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's called failing forward, right? The only real prison is the prison of our mind. So if we can get out of our own heads and move forward, we can do a lot. We are about to end the show. I want to thank you so much. We have 2 minutes left. Do you have any other messages that you want to put out there into the world before we end off?
Just be unique. Don't be normal. Normal sucks. It's boring. And live your life in a way where you're not going to have any regrets. Write down what you want to do with your life, what you want to accomplish. To me, I had a mentor ask me, what is it that you truly want? And I said, I want to live forever. And he said, how are you going to do that? And I said, I'm going to die without regrets. You die without regrets, that means you've lived a fulfilled life and you've changed the life of others. That's the last message I could pass on.
That's fantastic, Mario. I want to thank you. It's been good to meet you. It's been good to meet you. I'm glad we could have a conversation about this, because
everything comes from a conversation, my friend.
Awesome. We end the show in one way. Everybody who watches, Mario, I'm just going to ask you to wave and say bye to everybody while I hit the end broadcast button.
Ba-bam.
We are ba-bam.